My most memorable experience in scouting was sitting around the campfire with my troop during one of the Klondikes, and my scoutmaster took out a thermometer, and we just watched the temperature drop to about 2 degrees. And I just was proud of myself in the morning when I woke up and realized that though it was a really tough night, I slept through the night and I was able to conquer the cold.
My most memorable experience with scouting was when I was standing at the summit of Mount Baldy in Philmont Scout Ranch, because when we had started the hike that morning, when we were standing at the bottom of the mountain looking up, I was very worried that I wasn't going to be able to do it, and I was thinking about how difficult and challenging it would be. And then once we made it to the top, I realized what I had accomplished, and it just made me feel really good. It made it even more memorable.
One of my most memorable experiences in scouting was the Iditarod race in Pound Ridge last year for the Klondike Derby. So we were on like our last lap, and there was the team that was in first place. We were in second place at the time. They were about halfway there to the end line, and I really wanted it. We all really wanted it. We wanted to win this race. So I turned around, looked at my guys, and I said, all right, let's just give it our all. Let's put it all down right here, put our cards on the table, and let's just fly. So we started running, and we actually managed to pass them and get first.
My most memorable experience in scouting would have to be at Camp Reed. We got to learn all different survival skills that were essential to live out there in Camp Reed. And the part that also made it memorable was I was there with my friends, so anything really made it more fun when you're with your friends. So.
My most memorable experience would be Philmont, because we got to use the skills that we learned in our years of scouting and apply them to real-life situations and cook our food and use leadership skills and get through the course alive.
I would have to say my most memorable experience from scouting was my Philmont trek with my troop. During the trek we had an absolutely great time. We went on many side hikes. We had a lot of funny memories, and we went up Mount Baldy and just had an absolutely great time.
My most memorable experience in scouting would definitely be hiking on the White Mountains Trail with my dad, my brother, and my scout troop. But what made this most special was realizing that 5 years later I'd be hiking these same trails at a camp that I now work at.
For my Eagle project, I was working in Mianish River Park. I was surveying the park, routing signs, assembling them, and installing them. I had over 20 people helping me, and the reason I chose this project was because I go to that park a lot, and I saw that a lot of the signs had been damaged in many storms and they were missing. For this reason, I thought it was good for me to give back to the park I always go to and assemble these signs.
My Eagle project was making an emergency preparedness map for the town of Greenwich, and what that consisted of was we took a map of Greenwich and then we put emergency locations like the shelters, Greenwich Hospital, the police station, and then we overlaid supermarkets, drugstores, gas stations that had generators. And I really got that idea because during Hurricane Sandy, for future storms, I wanted to make sure that people would know where to go and that this resource was available to them and that such a good resource shouldn't be wasted.
My Eagle Scout project was to rebuild a 24-foot long bridge that was destroyed by Hurricane Sandy at the National Audubon Sanctuary in Greenwich, Connecticut. I got the idea for my Eagle Scout project because me and my dad used to go there when I was younger, and when they said they needed a bridge to be rebuilt, I was more than happy to give back to the place that gave me the love for the outdoors.
My Eagle project was building a 70-foot long elevated pathway in the Helen Biddy Kitchell Nature Preserve area. I chose this Eagle project because it was very close to my house. I drove by it every day, and the region in which the project took place was somewhere that not many people knew existed at the time, so I feel this project really brought it out so people would know, hey, there are actually trails and there's a park back here that no one really knows about.
My Eagle project was a beautification project at St. Paul's Roman Catholic Church. I cleaned up invasive species all around the grounds. I fixed up rock walls. I removed anything that needed to be removed. I did a memorial to Oliver Pacchiana. He was a Boy Scout that had passed away 2 years ago, and he was a part of Troop 35 in Glenville. He did his project there, and so over the years it had deteriorated a little bit, so I cleaned his project up, and I also planted a tree and put a plaque under the tree in honor of him.
My Eagle Scout project was at the Greenwich Audubon. I built 3 grape arbors, and the grape arbors were designed to elevate the local vines and grapes so that animals wouldn't eat and destroy them, and it was there for the pleasure and enjoyment of anyone who'd like to see natural grapes and vines.
Through scouting, I've learned to be a good friend. Many of the parts of the scout law are what we look in a friend. During one of the camping trips, I was talking with my dad and a few other scouts, and we were talking about what we look for in a person, and we realized after we started naming off a few things that these were the same things in the scout law, such as trustworthy, friendly, courteous. And through scouting, I've learned to do these and all 12 points of the scout law.
Honestly, I don't think I can pick a single most important thing. There's so much I've learned in scouting, but I mean, if I had to narrow it down, I could say the scout oath, law, and motto. I would have to say that those are the most important things I've learned because they've helped shape me, and just my morals, to like go on the right path. It's just like it helps me to make choices. I look at what would an Eagle Scout do? I'm an Eagle Scout, so what would I do?
The most important thing I learned in scouting is dedication, and that if you put your mind to it, you can really do anything you want. One example of how I learned dedication was going through the Order of the Arrow, because the first time I went to go through the ordeal, I gave up at about 2 in the morning because I wasn't mentally mature enough. But then the next year, I used the future campouts of that whole year to prepare myself mentally and physically for it. And during the next year, I became a member of the OA.
The most important thing that I've learned through scouting is to be confident in myself, which I've learned through my various leadership positions and my activities in scouting, such as camping.
The most important thing I've learned in scouting is really how to be a leader, and I've learned that through various exercises that my troop has done, and then also my personal leadership positions. Being the patrol leader for my patrol really helped me understand what worked when trying to get the scouts to complete a task and what didn't work, and then how to properly communicate.
The most important thing I learned in scouting was the leadership skills that I was able to apply in outside situations, such as my own engineering team, which then went on to win a national championship.
To all the younger scouts in my troop, my best advice to you is to go to as many activities as possible, because this is where we're going to make friendships, this is where we're going to put everything we do in the troop meetings to work, and this is where we can really show how we embody the scout oath and the scout law.
With the younger scouts of my troop, I would just share with them that always do your best and always be prepared and always really expect the unexpected. When you go on a camp out, bring extra everything just in case anything ever happens.
The message I would share with the younger scouts of my troop is to actually get involved and to go on the camping trips and all the extra activities that scouting offers, because you get a real experience and you can apply the skills you learn at the meetings on those trips.
To the younger scouts, I would say don't be afraid to take on a leadership position. To really insert yourself into the troop, and don't be shy when it comes to any opportunities.
I would like to tell the younger scouts in my troop to definitely not wait to start working on your Eagle, because it's something that was told to me many times, and I told myself, oh, I'll never delay it that long, and I ended up doing exactly that. And it seems like everyone says it, so I would say make sure that you take that advice and start working on it sooner rather than later. Get it done.